The Reman Project is a coaching and consulting firm specializing in personal and leadership development for adult Black males, seeking to break the vicious cycle of missed potential so that they themselves transform their personal lives, their sense of leadership to their families, and their legacies that they want to leave for business and culture. We destroy this cycle on two fronts. We confront both the institution and the individual. We address the institution because, according to the statistics, Black males are under assault and are targeted for extinction in ways that their white counterparts are not. We are over-incarcerated and under-educated. There are systems in place, political systems, media systems, and religious systems that serve as intentional, or some say unintentional, barriers to the Black male's advancement. As a result, we work to raise public awareness about issues confronting Black males, promote healthy and positive images about Black males, curate spaces to share information and resources about programs, services, and support for Black males, support knowledge creation and dissemination around these issues, and provide a forum for Black males to both speak and act for themselves. We address the individual Black male because we cannot avoid personal responsibility. We are now overmothered and underfathered. We make bad social choices, and we avoid responsibility for getting ourselves out from under the social plight that we face. We will develop the moral compass and character necessary to face the adverse realities that are faced in everyday life. We live by the premise that even that which is not our fault is still our responsibility. In 2019, we answered the call to transform the culture one man at a time. Our society, our families, and men in particular, are in a state of crisis. And the goal of the Reman Project is to curate the largest, strongest, and dopest community of Black males in the entire world. We then create awareness and action against the institutional and individual impediments that exist against the foundation of our culture and overall society, which is the Black male. There we go. Good afternoon to y'all. Good to see y'all. Good to be with the brothers. We are broadcasting live into all of my Facebook groups, Facebook pages, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, your mother's phone that they used to have back in the day that connect to the wall. Yeah, we're on your TV with the old HBO box that you had to push hard on that damn button to choose. Yeah, we're everywhere. We outside. So I want to say good afternoon to all of y'all. I'm trying to catch y'all on your lunch break and interrupt some of that fatness you got going on, whatever you're about to eat, hot dogs and shit and all that. We come to interrupt that. That's the reason why I got Coach on today. Coach, don't come on here acting, don't come on here talking slick. Today's a good day. I have I'm not come for you, don't come for me. This is not what today is about. We are united today. We're united today. And I want to make sure that we talk about something I think is really, really important. I'm clowning on the front end. Probably, quite frankly, brothers, laughing to keep from crying. And I really want to talk through what I have watched replay over and over again with Tua. But I also want to kind of talk, I want to kind of couch it within a greater conversation, right? And that is, how do we talk to, and today, so that you guys know, today is really about talking to ladies. Coach, that's your specialty, right? Not that you're a womanizer or anything, but just because that's your audience, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes, um, and I want to be careful how I say this. Sometimes our sisters don't know the value that they bring and the level of influence that they have, particularly when it comes to their husbands. Um, and so let me open up by saying this, and then Coach, I'm gonna come to you first, and then you can toss it to Leroy. I don't know how to pronounce the brother's last name, so you guys are going. I'm just gonna call him. I'm gonna call him TT. I'm gonna call him Tua. I'm gonna call him TT. I'm gonna call him something like that because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Tugla, Tugla something, right? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Is he from the islands? Is he from Hawaii or something? He is from Hawaii. Okay. All right. So uh, I I did not see last night's game. Saw a little bit of it, and clearly I didn't see into the third quarter, which is when the injury happens. He has had concussion after concussion after concussion, right? Stephen A reminded us this morning that he's had three, and I think in the last 2 years, 3 years, something like that. And then when he was in college, he had another one where he was hit really hard, broke his nose. So this brother has um, he's gone through a lot. I'm praying for I'm praying for his recovery, right? And I'm praying for him to be strong, and I'm praying for him to just kind of recover. That's a lot. And then he gets hit by the very brother that died on the field just a year ago. Damar Hamlin, right? Is that is that
Hmm.
is that right?
Hmm.
Right? So a part of what Ryan was saying, what's Ryan's last name? You got what's Ryan's last name? Ryan, he's a sports commentator. He used to play
Patrick.
for Pittsburgh.
Ryan
I
Clark.
think Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark said when being pushed about, and Stephen A. It was Molly, right, and the other sister that was talking today about um, that maybe he should hang it, maybe he should hang it up, maybe he should retire, right? So there's that language, Coach, and I see you saying, yeah, maybe that's the best idea. Ryan Clark and Stephen A would not disagree with that, but what they did say is that as warriors, all of us here are warriors, right? We show up and we fight the battles every single day, and sometimes we push the limits and we try to find out where the edge is, and we do that work every day, right? Football, Coach, you played football professionally. Football is a volatile sport, not just for the guys who have concussion after concussion after concussion. It's volatile every play. The
Every play.
the the probability of you getting injured, losing your life, getting hurt irreparably is there every single play. And it doesn't matter how many rules they change, like the kickoff rule, which I think was a great. I don't like it, but I understand it, right? That there's this continued attempt to at least make it safer, right? That because it's such a volatile sport. What Ryan Clark said and what Stephen A said is that's that man's decision. And I'm trying to contextualize it for our conversation, Coach, so that you can jump in within
Hmm.
context. Because I
Hmm.
don't really want to talk as much about the injury as much as I want to talk about who is going to protect us from ourselves, right? So Stephen A says, well, Nobody has the right to make that decision but him. And Ryan Clark says nobody has the right to make that decision but him. Ryan Clark talked about how many concussions he had and how the Pittsburgh Steelers protected him from himself. But he said they only protected me for 1 week. Like, I still had the choice of being able to play. And as soon as someone releases Tua from the concussion protocol and says he's okay to play, then he's going to have some very tough decisions to make. What I want to offer is, brothers, that there should be some other people involved in that decision, right? And I want to primarily talk about, Coach and Leroy, the responsibility that not just as it relates to injuries like this, right? Because a part of what Stephen A was saying is very true. We can't deny it. It's very true that he will get what $90 million that he will receive that they can't take from him, right? This new contract includes $90 million that he will get regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen A said, look, as a man, we're wired differently. We are wired differently. And this thing in us to suggest I want to earn my pay, I want to prove to everybody you just didn't give me a contract so that I can sit on the bench. All this shit that goes on in our minds over and over again is a reality. That is a reality, right? The narrative, the script that plays over and over again in our minds. Ryan Clark said, my wife knew what my answer was going to be if she asked me to stop playing. She knew what my answer was going to be. Other players have said the same thing. They know what my answer is going to be. Don't ask me to stop playing. What I'm asking is, who is going to help Leroy? Who is going to help Coach? I'm coming to you first. To protect me from me. To protect Walter from Walter. To protect Leroy from Leroy. I think that it is the responsibility, the responsibility of those that are closest to us, and many in our instances, Coach, you and I are married. Leroy probably has a wife somewhere, but it is our responsibility. Of course, yeah, certainly, right? So it's our responsibility as our wives' responsibility as those that are closest to us to say, hey, it's over. You don't have shit to prove to nobody. Nobody, right? If I don't care if I gotta help pick up cans by the freeway, I'm not going to lose my husband breaking his back. Take away this $90 million and take away sports and take away all of that. The average guy, Coach, who is busting his ass and breaking his back every single day to make life happen, 2, 3, 4 jobs, just to prove his manhood without someone saying, hey man, let me protect you from you. Because I don't need you to continue to break your back for this family. I appreciate your pride. I appreciate your ego. I appreciate your willingness. I appreciate all that. You're not some bum dude. You're not laying on my couch and driving my car and not. No. You are working hard every single day. But a coach, I'm turning it to you right now, man. Every brother has a limit. Every guy has a limit. And there are so many guys that I am privileged to coach and walk through the darkness with every single day that are trying to prove to society and his woman and his children that, look, I'm valuable. I'm valuable to this family because I'm paying bills and I'm doing all of this shit. And what I'm saying is, man, who steps in, Coach, and says, hey, man, you don't have another thing to prove, my guy. And I think that it is the responsibility of the women that we have married to say, hey, babe, enough. Enough. You're valuable. Without football, you have something else to offer other than paying all the bills. Like who saves us from us? So I just wanted to contextualize it, Coach. It's
Mm-hmm.
not really about Tua. It's about
I
the
get it.
everyday guy that you and I are privileged to know. Leroy and I are privileged to know that's breaking his back, and no one is stepping in to help to say, "Hey, man, let me protect you from me. I'm gonna carry some of this burden with you."
Okay, I'm gonna push because maybe I'm different, right? You know, um, a champion in all walks of life, sports, living, whatever, is always going to say, "Can I do more? What am I not doing?" Everyone else is going to say, "I've done enough." Somebody define for me what is enough. Until you can tell me what is enough life, enough production. Our ultimate example hung on a cross and paid the ultimate sacrifice. He could have at any time during his 33 years, he could have at any time said, "Enough. I've done enough. I've shown him the way. I'm out. I'll see y'all on the other side." At any given time, he could have done that. But he said, "No, more." He literally carried the instrument of his death up a hill, and he didn't have to. So I understand the the wear on your body, the wear on your mind, but there is a very fine line between being obsessed and being successful and being just like everybody else. I'm not here to be everybody else. I'm not here to just change a few lives. I'm literally here to change the entire world. And my job is to give every ounce of everything I got to ensure that that happens. My wife's job, my significant other's job, her job is to help you achieve that goal. Now, does she got to make sure you eat? Yeah. Make sure you sleep? Yeah. But her job is to push you until you get there. And when you're there, you find the next mountain. And when you're there, you find the next mountain. Because a lot of people go to the NFL and get there. Okay, I'm here. I'm good. A lot of people become a millionaire. Oh, yep, I'm a millionaire. I'm good. What else are you offering to the world? Warren Buffett gets up every single day and goes to work. This guy ain't never got to work ever. So, yes, our significant others got to have to ensure that we healthy, fed, go to the dentist, go to the doctor's appointments, and do all that stuff. But we can't stop, right? In my opinion, we can't stop. Like I'm never going to stop training. Is there such thing as having enough muscles? I don't know, but we're going to find out together because I'm not going to stop. The reason that a lot of guys in the NFL die by the age of 60 is because they stopped working out, right? They've done enough, but they die because their heart can't take not working out. Because now their heart, which is the muscle, will start to atrophy, and they'll have a heart attack and die. It's just what happens. So, like everything else in life, at least in my opinion, you have to keep going. Your hands have to stay on the stone. You have to keep grinding, because if you don't, I just think that there is something about how we operate that we are very, 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 very similar, no different than a lion, right? A lion wakes up in the morning and he got one job. He don't stop because he's tired. He keeps on going. And that's what I think that we have to do. Now, playing in the NFL is different, and I think that's a very tough sword to balance on because CTE is real, right? And using that as an example is tough because it's not just about your ability to keep going. It's about your ability to keep going and not putting the others around you at risk. So I think that it's different using a sports analogy, but I think that her job is to make sure that you have what it takes to be successful. That's just, I don't know, my opinion.
Yeah, so I think there's a difference, and what I hear you describing is a one-dimensional man.
Mm-hmm.
What I hear you describing is a man who is so committed to his call and career that he forgets that a part of being a three-dimensional man, and even more, is family and your individual life. That I am not what I do. I'm simply not. I'm more to this world than what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of the challenge that is being experienced, I'm not talking about brothers who are lazy, and
Right.
I'm not talking about brothers who aren't pushing the edge. I'm talking about brothers who are willing to literally lay down their lives. And the truth of the matter is, if I lay down my life, who's there for my children? If I lay down my life, who's there for my wife? If I lay down my life, who's there for the people I'm called to serve? There is a place where someone must protect me from myself. Because the lady says something that's very, very true. He doesn't just have himself to think about. That is an incredibly selfish idea. I don't just have myself to think about. He's got a wife. He's got children. And to continue to see my husband, because his why is ego, to continue to see my husband lay out on that field, right? And over and over and over again, for the why of protecting and sheltering ego is problematic for me. So I'm not talking about a guy who needs to push his limits. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a guy, Leroy, I'm coming to you now, man. I'm talking about a guy who has to have someone say to him, hey, my guy. Or we just going to say, Leroy, if he dies on the field, he died a hero. When someone didn't have the courage to say, hey man, let's reevaluate this. 4 concussions in 5 years is a lot, right? And to Coach's point, Leroy, I'm coming to you, CTE is real. This is not and you don't get a chance to really figure out what the hell has happened until you crack that skull and figure out what actual damage has taken place. But what, to Coach's point, is very real. There are a number of guys who are attempting to push the limits, not for their own personal betterment. Most guys are attempting to push their limits because of ego. And until a brother learns to crucify ego, right, then he's going to make decisions that are not in the best interest of anyone but himself, in a very selfish position, I believe, that he's taking. So, Leroy, I'm coming to you now, man. Tell me your position.
I mean, I guess before speaking to Tua, I said a couple years ago when he had that fatal concussion that he should have retired then. To me, there comes a point where it's not about, it's not about being this ultimate warrior. It's not about, I got to lay it all on the field. I've got to, show that I'm the man or a man. It comes to a point where you have to make a choice. It's either your health and your health, or what it is that you may have loved doing it from a kid, but the possibility of you dying on the field gets even greater. Coach, you have already said it. It's already without concussions, it's already the level, the possibility is already there. Now you want to tack on this, On top of that, and we as men, we have to understand that. And I'll give y'all a real life example. This is me. Back in 2008, I had to have surgery on my eyes. I had keratoconus, and I had between 2008 and 2010, I had to have both of my corneas replaced, surgery. So after that, maybe a year or two after I had the second one, because they don't do them at the same time. Um, I'm in my doctor's office. I'm in my surgeon's office, and I love to, play sports. And me and my buddy, we would go out, play basketball, exercise, play basketball and stuff like that. I said, "Hey, Doc," he said, I said, can I go and play basketball now? He said, "No lie." My doctor said to me, "Do you want to see?"
Yeah.
I said, "Oh." I was like, "It's like that?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Because if something happens to you, whatever, mistake, whatever, and you get hit in your temple, your eye, anywhere, he said you could go blind." That's how sensitive it was for me. I was like, "Doc, you ain't got to say nothing else to me. I'm good." And I have not picked up a basketball since then, because me being able to see was more important than me having to go out and having a good time and exercising with my buddy playing basketball. I can do other things to exercise and everything like that. Me and my buddy, we can find something else to do, but I'm not putting my sight at risk for me wanting to be able to do something. It wasn't worth it to me. I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." So we have to, as men, we have to be cognizant of ourselves. And I love the way that you put it down. Who protects us from us? Because we do need that. Where we because we think the way that we think, we want to do the things that we do sometimes, where you have to have somebody to be like, "No, we're not going to do it." And that goes to those doctors as well. Like, look, you done had 4 concussions over this time span. We're not clearing you to play again. We can't do it.
Yeah.
I would, and if I'm that doctor, I'm like, I couldn't in all consciousness give that clearance.
Yeah.
And because if something were to happen to him, you're the doctor that gave him the clearance to go and play. And said, "Go ahead, have at it and play." I wouldn't want that on my conscience. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want that on my conscience.
And it's I think it's coach's perspective. So when I came up with the title, Coach, I'm coming back to you, man. When I came up with the title, "Who's going to protect him from him?" It's your perspective that I need someone to protect Coach from. When Coach says, "I'm not going to stop," that's most alpha guys, right? And I'm an alpha guy. Coach is an alpha guy, right? Leroy's an alpha guy. We are men. We are men's men. It's a part of the reason why all of us get along. We're men's men, right? So, but somebody's got to protect me from that. When the time comes, somebody's got to step in and say, "Hey, Donald," particularly when what is driving me is this one dimension of my life where I'm trying to prove, and many brothers, Coach, I don't have to tell you this, many brothers that you've come in contact with, I've come in contact with, Leroy has come in contact with, they ain't really trying to prove something to themselves. They're trying to prove something to Pop that wasn't there, Mom that didn't, a girlfriend that said something sweet, somebody left them. It shit ain't healthy. It's not healthy, right? So I'm all for pushing the limits and push the edge. I do that every single day, and I encourage the brothers of Remain to do something, to do the same thing. Don't get complacent. Don't settle into the most dangerous part of the emotional space, which is boredom and complacency, right? And contentment. Don't settle into that space. But what I'm talking about is when a guy says what you just said, and he said, and the doctor says, to Leroy's point, the doctor says, "You take one more hit. You take one more hit.
In the wrong spot.
In the wrong spot, and it's a wrap for you. It's a wrap for you." And what we're seeing with Tua is not a freaking knee injury. What we're seeing with Tua is brain shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so my position, and I just want to dialogue about it. Our wives' position is not just to say keep on going. That's not my wife's position. My wife's position isn't to say find another way to make it work. That's not her position. Her position is to say, hey, let me get in here with you. My position as a man with you is to say, Coach, let me get in this dark place with you. I did a post earlier today in an email and LinkedIn. I put it everywhere, right? That what makes me different than most coaches is I ain't going to stand on the sideline and cheer you on. I'm going to get in the darkness with you. I'm going to get in the abyss with you. I'm going to get in the darkest, hardest place, the place of your insecurities and your fear and your doubt. I'm going to get in that place with you, and I'm going to help you out of that place by being in the place with you. I don't think that enough sisters pay attention to the plight that their husbands are in. They don't pay attention. So brothers are in darkness. And as you guys know, most guys don't have community like Remain. They're trying to do this shit in isolation. And most sisters are not keen enough to pay attention to a dude that is snapping at her. He's snapping because he got some shit going on. He's angry because he got some stuff. And no one is taking the time to pause to pay attention to the real plights of men. Leroy and I said it yesterday. They come up with this, I'm good. How you doing, bro? I'm good. You're not good. Stop it. You're not good. Stop. I hate when brothers do that. Stop. You're not good. And you're going to, I'm good yourself into a divorce, and you're going to, I'm good yourself into a worse situation that you're in. So my position, Coach, is who do we trust enough? Maybe that's the greater question. Who do we trust enough to be able to tell you, sit your ass down and let's figure out something else here?
Well, you should have people around you that you know and that know you, right? Everyone who knows me knows what I'm about, right?
Yes.
You know, I preach 6 hours, 8 hours of sleep. That's the last time I got it, right? You know. But Walter, you say we should do it. You're right. I'm not you, and you're not me. And my responsibility to other people is to be there for them, right? My responsibility to me is to take care of myself, eat, don't overdose on caffeine, and do all the things that I know to be the right thing to do. But people have to, one, understand where you are and what you're doing, and that way they can understand where you are and what you're doing. Like your spouse, your significant other, you try, in my case, Tracy, she knows when I'm at a certain point where my people meter goes all the way down. If my people meter is down, she'll know, okay, hey, you need to take a day off. Because you know that, but that's the familiarity. Otherwise, she'll sit back and like, Jesus Christ, when do you stop? Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. And if people don't understand you, then they just don't understand. You know, being in a high performance job, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's playing in the NFL, Major League Baseball, point guard or basketball team, all those positions are tremendously high pressure, high A personality types. You can't be some docile human being and have that type of position. So, are you able to be focused but also be aware at the same time? You know, and if you're unable to be aware, is there someone that's being aware of you the whole time? And I still think that our significant other, or our friends, or our partners, or whoever that we have there in that position in our lives, I think, to me, that their position is, take a break, recoup, and keep going. Because if you keep going, you ain't gonna make it. Right? It's a different conversation. Should Tua's wife tell him you're not putting the helmet back on? Well, absolutely. Right? He's had more than 4 concussions. It's been more than 4. It's just scientifically impossible, right, to play in the NFL and not have a concussion. I mean, the comparison, just so anybody who doesn't know, playing at that level of sport, even at Division I college football, if you're on the field, it is the equivalent of being in a total loss car accident. That's the toll it takes on your body, right? Yeah. And our bodies are not made to be in a total loss car accident every week.
For years.
For a number of years.
But for years. Yeah. Your body isn't made to do that for 16 weeks, for 8 years, 5 years, however long you play. So, and because your body's made for that, yes, you had more than the 4 concussions. Just those are the ones that are trackable, right? Those are the ones that leave a big enough dent and gap in time in your mind that put in the box. Put in the box here. Thank you. No lady. If you have that person around you who's able to be aware, and then sometimes you got the person to put their foot down, like, nah, bro, this ain't happening. I would.
One of my favorite movies, Coach, is Acrimony, right? And I'm coming right back to you. One of my favorite movies is Acrimony, and in that movie, there is a period, to your point, where the brother who has given his life to this invention, right? He's having marital problems, and he's crumbling. His marriage is crumbling. He's run out of money. He's still trying to push this invention. And he finally gets to the place where he can pitch in front of somebody that can change his life. Well, he just had an argument with his wife. They've been rolling around on the lawn fighting, right? He shows up, and this other chick, not his wife, but a chick that he cheated with when he was young. It's a whole nother story, right? But he shows up, and she says to him, "You look like shit." And he is like, "It's a long story." Remember this, Leroy? Did you see it, Leroy? You seen the movie? Yeah. So she said, "You look like shit. I don't know how I'm supposed to convince him that you're not some crazy guy." So he breaks, and he says, "I don't even know if I can do this anymore." She says to him, she grabs him by the collar, and she says, "Put the personal shit aside and go in there and own that room." That's what you're talking about. A spouse that will hit you on the ass and tell you, "Go back out, do it one more time." Right? And I absolutely agree. When you feel like you ain't got nothing left in you, when you feel like everything's crumbling, you don't have another day, and your spouse has to know you enough to say, "You got another day. You just having a bad moment. You got another day," right? But to your point, and I'm coming back to you, Coach, and then you can throw it to Leroy. To your point, when I've had 4 concussions that my body responded to in a way that the world knows. But I've had more because I've never heard what you said before, but it makes perfect sense. A total collision car crash every single week for 10 seasons. And when it comes to the place where I'm on the ground season, and all of my teammates like, "Come on, come get him, come get him, come get him." And then my wife is in the box like,
Oh, you frozen. He froze.
Yeah, I think he froze. Let's see if he comes back.
There he is. He was frozen.
There you go. Yeah, you're back.
Was I frozen like this?
You was frozen just like that.
Right, Coach? There comes a time where someone has to protect me from my own self. Now Coach is gone. Coach, now you gone.
No, he's
I'm
good.
not frozen.
He's moving.
Somebody
Yeah,
call.
he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
somebody call.
so yes, when it's to that point, right? When you're that beat up, that abused, and you have your fourth concussion, that's a whole different, it's no longer your choice. You gave up your choice when you had that fourth concussion on the field, right?
Yeah.
Now with the responsibility of those around you, to do that, not yours.
Can, can I ask you to speak to something you just talked about? Because Coach Marcy says the same thing in this regard, and I know you probably tell your clients this too, is to listen to your body
Mm-hmm.
and what it's telling you. Because I know, like, my body had been feeling just like sore and everything else. And I was just like, man. And so I took this week off of doing my exercise. I'm like, I'm gonna let my body rest, give it a
Mm-hmm.
chance to kind of just. And how important is it for us, just whether it's playing football or just everyday businessman
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't do, like you were just saying, simply getting enough rest? How important is it for you to listen to your body and what it is telling you?
It's a very, very fine line, Leroy. You know, and yes, listen to your body matters. I was coached that the only time you should not train is when you have a headache. That's it.
Mm,
Otherwise,
mm,
sick, tired, sore, hurt, you train, right? The listen to your body is completely relevant. It completely makes sense because sometimes you do need a moment to refresh it and everything. So after a meet, I won't train for 3 or 4 days, right?
okay.
After I, because it's you still have a lot of adrenaline, you say other stuff, so it needs to come down, calm down, and then you'll be able to go back and execute. So yes, there is definitely logic to listen to your body, but sometimes it's like we all are a result of our choices. And just sometimes we make really bad choices. You're right.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
sometimes the body,
Hmm.
our brain is telling us that okay, we've trained for 6 days in a row. We should be tired. Okay, we are a little tired. I'm gonna take off another 3 days. No, no.
Right.
You, you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And there's a difference
Yeah.
between when you're training between failure and then just a little bit sore. There's a difference between
Hmm.
injured and just being a little bit sore. So yes, that does matter. It just depends on the type of athlete that you are, type of what your goals are, right? So yes, I'm not going to push back on Coach Marcy because yes, she is exactly correct. You should absolutely listen to your body. It just I'm going to make sure that it's your body and not your brain.
Correct. Yeah, because there,
You
like you
know what
said,
I'm
there is
saying?
a difference. It's just saying, yeah, oh, you're and that can become habitual, if you will, or an excuse to not train or to not,
Right,
not to do what you do, as opposed to saying, yeah, my body's just not. Yeah, it needs a little bit of rest. I'll give it
right,
the opportunity, like you said, to recover, and then it's right
right.
back. You got to get back on it. Because I was just like
Mm-hmm.
today, I was just like, man. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I go another a week of this. I was like, nope. I said, because if I go another week, then I'll wind up saying, all right, well, I can take the next week. I'm like, no, we
Uh-huh.
getting right back. We getting right
Right.
back
That's
into the
exactly correct.
routine next week.
That's
I'm
exactly
giving my
correct.
body enough time to rest and everything like that. I was like, yeah, but it is. It's just, and as we're talking about this today, you know what who I thought about? I thought about Muhammad Ali
That's
and
exactly where I
how
was going to go a minute ago.
he went beyond boxing when he should have, and
Ronnie
it
Coleman
hurt me
lifting
to my
weights, same deal.
yeah it,
Yeah.
yeah it hurt me to my heart to watch him fight a
Mm-hmm.
Larry Holmes and to see him get beat like that, and then to see him having Parkinson's. I think that was what he had
Yeah.
Parkinson's, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
had to come with Parkinson's. And when we just when we push ourselves to that limit, um oh yeah, I just got a message. I don't know if you got it too. His Donald's
Yeah.
internet went out. I don't know how we're still on.
They got that storm down there. They got the storm down there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I don't know if he's gonna be able to come back on or not, um but watching the greatest and watching him in his latter years, and that's what I look at when Tua isn't, to me, he isn't thinking about after football. Let's say you
his basketball life is already in turmoil now. I mean, he has to stop now. Like there's no recovery.
Yeah.
That's immediate retirement. He's done.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's but I hope that he's well and everything ends up good. But that was a tough hit. A tough place. So. Oh,
yeah, I mean, doing something that you've done since you were a kid, we get it, but your health and as we've been talking about today, you have to care about those that are around you too, and those that you got to think about those that are around you and the impact that has on them, because if something does happen to you,
That's right. That's exactly correct. And that backdrop is tough, man. I just can't. Somebody, like we said, I guess that's the culmination of it all. It's you're not on an island by yourself. So you're not on by yourself. You have to carry and treat yourself that way because you matter to other people. So that's what's important.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I want to do this, I guess, if we can, because I don't know if he's going to be able to come back on or not. But if you had words of encouragement to that guy that is, he's working 70, 80 hours a week, and he's not he's not his health may be a concern.
Right.
Or that dude that's working out, and he, what would you say to him, or what would you say? Because Donald started off talking to the women. What would you say to that woman that's a part of his life to kind of get him to say, you know what? Yeah, I kind of do think do need to pull back or think about more than just myself.
It's sis. You can't tell him what to do, but what you can do is you can give him comfort advice that nobody else can. You can ask him, hey, do you think it's good that we're doing it this way? Or can we take a break, get a little bit more power, and then come back? It's all in your approach, and that's determined by how your relationship is with your man. So don't be aggressive with him and push back and say, hey, you can't do this because you're tired. He's going to say, I'm tired because I keep doing this and it's just for you. Because that's what he's going to say, right?
Right, yeah.
And
True
what
that.
you could say is, a man of mine, I appreciate all that you do and all that you're doing. And because I want you to do this for long term, maybe we should find a way to get you some rest, right? Even if it's 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours here and there, we need to find a way to ensure that happens. So, it's all in your approach. Don't try to be a man and tell him what to do. That'd be a bad idea.
Yeah. That's usually not going to end up well, because we will push back. Be like, dude, we just our egos are like, nobody's going to tell me.
Exactly.
Tell me what to do. So but I'm glad that we did come and have this conversation today, because brothers, we got to understand that if you don't have a circle of impact, what I call it, if you don't have that group around you, Reman is certainly where you can come and be a part of a brotherhood, brothers that you can talk these things about. If these kinds of things, our health is important. This is the only body you get. And Coach, you take this all you get. This is it.
That's it.
And we have
you got one.
That's it. You got one. That's it. And we've got to be able to make sure that we're taking care of it, so that we can take care of, our family, our friends, our businesses that we have. Because if you're not healthy, if you're not healthy, and if you're not good, if you're not here, it's not doing anything.
Good. Right.
Yeah, not doing anybody any good. So understand that, and our health has to be a priority. We've got to place a priority on our health, whether it's a concussion, whether it's eye surgeries, whatever that is, whether broken bone,
annual
whatever.
Checkup, going to the dentist.
Yeah, come on. Yes, sir. Absolutely. How important those are. I know you go to the doctor and I don't know about you
Hmm.
say it like this, coach. The doctor tell you bend over and
That's
you don't
it.
want to take this.
That's it. That's it.
You know, that exam could save your life.
That's
It
right.
literally could. My best friend, she adamant about going to the doctors. Every time I turn around, she going to the doctor's office. Going to the
Hmm.
doctor's for. I'm like, you got another appointment, but it actually
Yeah.
saved her life. She had been going to the doctors and she wound up having breast cancer, and they caught it
Wow.
because she was adamant about always going to the doctor.
Right.
So that's
That's
the
important.
importance of it, fellas. That's the importance of
You
it,
gotta take care
fellas,
of your
and
body. You only
why
get one.
we've got to do it. So, Coach, I'm gonna end it right there. Because
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't think he's gonna be able to come back
Check
since
on in a
he
minute. Yeah, that storm is done.
yeah.
Yeah. Tell him get off that Boost Mobile. Tell him get off that Boost Mobile. Step on up to T-Mobile or AT&T. Verizon, something. All right, man. I'll talk to you
Absolutely.
soon.
So, all
All
right.
right, man.
We
See
thank
ya.
everybody for tuning in today. We will see you all when we see you. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.